Hello, everyone, and welcome to Purple Curtain Podcast. This is John,
This is Rusty.
and today we have a guest joining us for the first time ever. We're going to be talking about the Nogizaka Undergirls with our good friend Vince, who is not so much a fan of Nogizaka these days. He's mostly a fan of Hello Project, but he definitely has a lot of information in his head about Nogizaka Undergirls, and I really look forward to hearing about them from him.
And even though Vince is not that into Nogi these days, he have a long history as a Nogi fan, going way back to like first single, I believe, or maybe the first single. First single. So yeah, there's a wealth of knowledge here, and Vince is the only one among us to actually attend actual Nogi lives. So in many sense, Vince is more of a veteran fan than both of us.
Yeah, definitely. Starting off with some more obvious questions. You've been to see Nogizaka Undergirls a lot, haven't you, Vince? How many times do you think you've been?
So I started off with Undergirls during their first Undergirls, lives.
Yeah.
For Kisita Katomoi. No, it's what is it? The other one, the one the year after. Umareta Mama de. Oh,
right,
maybe that's from Kisita Katomoi though. Anyway, that was the first event, so you had to buy like 3 singles or something to get tickets to apply that you sent via snail mail.
So Undergirls concerts are a relatively new thing then, aren't they?
Yeah, they started around 2 or 3 years into the group. Yeah, the 3rd year.
Yeah, cool.
So after the second anniversary live, more or less. So I was at the first one. The first ones were at Handshake events and also in Shibuya at a small, like 200 capacity venue, fully standing, free seats. So it was very different from the usual seated Nogizaka lives where you buy a ticket, your seat is printed on the ticket, and you just go to your seat and enjoy it from that seat.
Yeah, it actually sounds more like the kind of concerts I'm used to going to, actually.
Yeah, it's more like what you think if you go to a normal rock band or something.
Yeah.
And I remember the first few Underdive weren't like spectacular success when it comes to attendance because you had to turn in 3 handshake tickets, and a lot of people were naturally hesitant because 3 handshake tickets is quite a lot of value. And I believe there was fear back then, if I recall correctly, where people were afraid that because their attendance weren't too great, they were just gonna stop doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Like for the handshake ones, the attendance was really bad because in order to go to the handshake Underlives, you had to have a Rakuten card. So you have to get a special credit card to even go to the live.
That would narrow the numbers down, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So first of all, anyone under 20, I think maybe 18, could not go. Mm-hmm. That was the first problem, and then the second problem was even if you were above 18, who needs a fucking credit card?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm 32. I have never owned one.
Wow.
So that was a problem, but they did have the ones in Shibuya which were all fully sold out, or how to put it. It was the same handshake tickets, the national handshake tickets, except you mailed them, like mail applications to the address written on the tickets, and it's a lottery pretty much. I won the first 2 shows. It was 2 out of 3, I think. Those were the all-standing ones. Following that, then they had the principal 3rd one at the same time as they had the first official Underlive, first season or what they call it.
Mm-hmm.
Those ones were just normal concerts where you applied using via the fan club and all that at the Blue Theater in Nogizaka, the one where Kiyakisaka was originally supposed to debut in.
I always thought it was a better name personally.
Yeah. But they were gonna make that blue theater more like an AKB theater for Nogizaka or something, I think.
Huh.
So lots of under fans were actually excited about the idea because that place was kind of like a special place for all the under fans. So my Oshimen at the time was Ito Nene,
Yeah.
and she was pretty much stuck in Undergirls. So, but yeah, I attended like maybe I think it was 26 shows in total for the first season, might be less, maybe 60 or so. I think I attended at least 80% of those.
Yeah.
I actually went in depth for that, but
I mean, I think this also answers one of the other questions I was going to ask as well, which is partly why, you know, for as long as I've known you, you've always been more interested in Undergirls and Senbatsu.
yeah.
And Nene being there kind of, I think, would explain that partly, unless you've got like other reasons you want to give as well.
Well, like apart from Nene, I really liked Hoshino and Inoue, but those were they're like Senbatsu regulars more or less. They've been in unders a few times,
Yeah.
but mostly always Senbatsu. But I also liked from the first single, my favorite track was Hidari Mune no Yuki.
Oh
Which
yeah,
is
I
another
love
song.
that song as well.
Yeah, it's a really good song. And then from the second single, I actually like Oide Champion a lot, but I also dig Okami ni Kuchibuyo.
Mm.
And then with the third single, then it was Center.
Mm.
And I think most people who know me via Twitter or other pods or something like that know that I'm a Higuchi Oshi right now.
Yeah.
So Higuchi is standing next to Ito Nene as well, so it all ties together.
Yeah, like that was another question I have as well. It's kind of like when you're talking about Nogizaka these days, you usually identify Hina as being your Oshimen,
Yeah.
but also you mentioned having favourite members.
Oh yeah, I do
like
that.
maybe Ki-chan sometimes.
Yeah, I do that for Hello Project as well, but usually my Oshimen is the one I spend money on, and my favorite member is not necessarily the same member.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
Ito Nene, it was like that, but Ito Nene was special because I actually did not spend that much money on it. I didn't go to single handshake event. I went to Inoue and Hoshino only.
Yeah, because I mean, I think like what's happening is that a lot of overseas fans just sort of, you know, to them, Oshimen and favourite member are exactly
The same
thing.
thing, yeah.
And while, you know, like broadly, I mean, people whose Oshimen isn't their favourite member is an unusual thing.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Like Oshimen, I kind of is it. I you know, my Japanese isn't perfect, but is it essentially you just saying this is the member that you're pushing and therefore supporting?
Yeah, basically it means the member you support. Like usually it's synonymous even in Japan with favorite member. Personally, I draw the line between Oshimen and favorite member because, I mean, the one I spend the money on is the one I'm pushing. Even if, say Nanase is one of my favorite Nogizaka members of all time.
Yeah.
But I was not exactly doing anything for Nanase, like any activities or anything like that. So, like, I talked about her and said I liked her.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And I think it's interesting because for many people, even if their favorite member is certain member, if they're very popular, it might become quite exclusive. Like it's hard to win handshake ticket with them and that kind of stuff. So maybe for these people, if they use the definition you use, the people they're technically pushing the most isn't exactly their favorite member either.
Yeah, because I mean, it's like, for example, I went to Japan and I got to go to an AKB handshake, not a Nogizaka one, but I did actually see my Oshimen, Kitahara Ria, but you know, I would also have said that my second favourite member was Sashi.
Yeah.
And I didn't get to see her, so you know, not my second Oshimen. Just my second favourite member. So yeah, like that. I think it's like it's a distinction that not that many people draw, but I think it's an interesting one.
Yeah, I think it's very personal too. Like, there's nothing stopping you from having several Oshimen or just one or anything. Just personally, I usually like to say I have one, and then
Yeah,
I have several members I support anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like pro advice, if you ever go to a handshake event, don't tell several members they are your Oshimen, because usually they will draw the line that if you say they're your Oshimen, that means they're the one you're pushing over the other members.
yeah. I just said I was very pleased to see everyone.
Yeah.
I was quite careful about that.
That's quite smart.
Especially because I know for a fact that sort of like two of the people I went to see were sort of like 2 lanes away from each other, and they would definitely both see me queuing for the other person. So you've got to be careful about that.
Mm-hmm.
That's my magic trick, because I never told Hoshino or Inoue that either was my Oshimen.
Yeah,
But they still noted that I went to both.
Mm.
But I mean, like, there's nothing stopping you. I don't know about AKB. Like, some groups are more, like, rough about that stuff. Like, you can't go to several members, but in Nogizaka it's pretty common. Mostly because it's really hard to get members that are popular.
Mm.
Like, even, like, Maya doesn't even do handshakes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
She hasn't done it for 2 years.
we
Like, apart from nationals.
we were looking at handshake numbers for like one of the earlier episodes, and it's like pretty much nobody with any kind of significant popularity within the group still does them.
No. I think
That's basically how it is now. Like, because it seems as though there seems to be some kind of set limit, and when they reach it, they don't have to do it anymore.
I think it's 400, and Oscar recently reached it, so Oscar was doing individual handshake for the last Synchro, I think, and now she's no longer available for individual handshake.
Asuka stopped doing them.
Yeah, I think she stopped doing them for the single.
Yeah, I have no idea. I haven't really checked the numbers, because the members if I attend handshakes, I usually don't have to look at the numbers.
Yeah.
Since the theme was Undergirls, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One question I want to ask is, you went to both Underlives and like regular Nogi concert.
Yeah.
And can you tell us about the difference in atmosphere, the difference in the experience?
So, like, first thing first, like, I went to a couple of Nogizaka lives in 2014, 15,
Mm-hmm.
and I went to Nogizaka concerts in 2017, 16, 17, and there's a lot of differences between those two periods, not just Undergirls, but in general. Like, in 2015, I think Nogizaka in general was pushing more towards better performances, live performances and all that, so they did more live performances on TV, did more live performances during their own shows, more live vocals and so on. But nowadays they've stopped. They kind of only do it at AKB show, like the TV show now. But Undergirls in general are usually perform live. That's the biggest difference, like, if anything. And each Under live season, so to speak, like they're divided in seasons, have their own theme. So the first one, which is the normal concert, more or less, they did all the Undergirls songs. They covered all the like the main songs as well, like Hashira Bicycle and that. But how to put it, like, it was kind of like Ito Marika, Saito Asuka, Higuchi Hina, like, it was their event. Marika was center for half the songs. Asuka was center for like 2/3 of the remaining half, and the remaining 1/3 was Higuchi, except for like Haru no Melody was Kana, and the Nene song was Nene. They did do, however, like shuffles, stuff like that, like special covers, like Ito Shansu, Ito Nene, and Ito Marika did the Hashimoto and Mayan song. What's it called? Yeah, that one. So they performed that one, and I think like the good vocalists like Saito Shiharu and was it like Eto and Nojo. I think they did Watashi no Tameni, Darika no Tameni. Yeah.
Mhm.
So you had some cool performances like that. That was for the first season. The second season, they did a non-stop live without, like, every single show was a non-stop live without a single MC.
Wow.
So, like, 90 to 120 minutes of just performing.
Mm.
It was almost like a birthday live, but
That's interesting. One of the things I like about Underlies was that when you mentioned the rotation, like I remember for a while, like every member will get to center once.
yeah, that's been the recurring theme the last few seasons, I think. Like they try to make sure each member get a center position.
Mm-hmm.
I think the third season was a musical, or like it had a musical segment of like 30 minutes of the whole show was just a musical with Nojami lead.
Interesting. Yeah, that makes sense because recently it seems like a lot of members are doing musical here and there, and it makes sense that Under features that, and I guess it's a good way to showcase the member.
Yeah. A really cool one, just like from a more recent one, was the 3 days show in Tokyo for Fusen Waketeru. I don't remember which single that was, but the one with Media Center. It was the smallest Undergirls lineup ever. I think it's Influencer. Yeah. It's only 12. It was only 12 Under members, so each member really got lots of time to shine. Like 12 members is like a non-48, 46 size for an idol group, pretty much.
Yeah, it's the same size as Equal Love.
Yeah, it's Equal Love size. It was, I think it's the Morning Musume size right now. I think it's like Supergirls used to have that size. It's like the perfect idol group size or something. So what was real nice for that show was you could really like eat every single member. Like my favorite Undergirl from that lineup was Kotoko.
Yeah.
She was center for what's it called? Like they divided everyone's centers throughout the 3 days. Maybe 2 days, 4 shows. But yeah, I think it was 3 members got featured each show. So if you were lucky, you got to see your favorite member, or if you just went to all of them like I did, you were guaranteed to see your favorite in the spotlight. But like I think for like Karin, she had like so many solo lines for all her songs. She had like a solo part and everything, solo opening, solo ending, and all that. Kotoko was like she's not good at singing, so she got lots of support. Same with like Kawago. But yeah, that was just a really good one.
So during the spotlight, besides being able to maybe be in the spotlight more, what else was different?
So apart from just getting more spotlight and like new chances to like show yourself, the venue is obviously smaller. I mean, like recently they're getting bigger as well, but like Nogizaka usually doesn't go to areas like how to put it, like Hokkaido. They only recently started going to Sendai. It's only the last 2 or 3 years. They don't go to like Aomori. They don't go to like regions like Kumamoto and stuff like that. But Undergirls do. Undergirls will go to areas where the main members, like Nishino, she graduated, but like Mayan, Asuka today, Yoda Yuki, and all those members pretty much never get a chance to perform in any of the like more like countryside regions.
I mean, how many dates would the tours have then?
I think it's usually spread out over, like the Hokkaido one was spread out over 4 days or 5 days, I think, just a week. I think when they were in Kyushu, it was spread out over 3 weeks, but they like only on the weekends or something. So they did like 2 shows in like northern Kyushu, and then 2 shows in middle Kyushu, and then 2 shows in Kumamoto, like lower Kyushu. I don't really remember because I didn't go to that one. But like when they did the Shuba one, they went to Nagoya, which is a normal Nogizaka city since the start. But they also went to Gifu, which is right next to it. But like, yeah, but because they go to all these regions, the venues are obviously a lot smaller. Like the current, like if they're the full group or they don't even need a full group, they could be just Senbatsu, and they could easily sell out like Tokyo Dome. Like the under members aren't needed to sell out Tokyo Dome probably, but the under members themselves could never do it. But it's also part of the charm, I think. Like fans kind of like the smaller venues because you're closer to the members. You're closer to other fans as well. Like how to put it? Like if you compare it to when I went to Jingu, like Jingu 2 or 3 years ago, together with another foreign fan. We won the tickets from the first round of the fan club tickets, like the best ones. We were, I think, second to last row in a 40,000 capacity venue. So obviously we could not see the members. The VTRs were pretty far, like the screens were pretty far as well. So like, and like there was I had tickets for all shows, but like there was not really much purpose to actually be there, because most people when they get those tickets, most fans are not going to be really excited. They just sit down for the entire show, especially if people went to all the shows. Like I think you remember. Did you remember the Bemars thing? There's like Baloo and everything. So like they did a Bemars skit or something.
Yeah, okay.
And it was the same for all shows. Like I went to the Nagoya show. I went to the Sendai show. I think I went to Osaka as well. And it was the same skit at every show. And then at Jingu they changed it a little bit, but it was the same for all days at Jingu.
I see.
I mean, I guess if you're that far away, it's probably... I mean, you can't watch them on TV, but if you could, it would just basically be the same as watching it on TV, wouldn't it?
It'd be worse than watching it on TV. Like, if it was streamed on Sky Perfect TV or something like that, like Scappa, you'd have better sound. You'd have better close-up of the members. So if you're like on this like side of the stage where you can't see the biggest screen, you can only see like some like basically dots running around in a big stage. You can kind of try to tell who is who based on hair or like different like attires and all that, or position. Though I must say some Nogizaka performances do look better from up above, like Kokoniru Ryu and stuff like that, where they do like formation dancing. It does look good from above. But yeah, how to put it? But anyway, like when you sit up there, like in a really bad place, you see the skit for the 5th time. Like usually they want you to stand up during the skit and all that. People just sit down and start picking up their phones. It's not really exciting to be like a part of that, where people just like, whatever.
I mean, I would do that, but it's just because I, despise all forms of audience participation and everything.
Oh yeah.
I'm just incredibly humorless about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's okay if you have that position, but actually one of my best experiences was in one of those concerts, because I ended up next to like some really yakai fans, how to put it, like really noisy fans, and they were just basically shouting the entire time because like we could not hear that well, like we had speakers, but the sound wasn't really that good. I couldn't see anything, so we just had a shouting contest, more or less. People around that area just got fired up in that like shouting contest. I mean, some people were probably really annoyed, but it was the fan club tickets anyway, so.
I mean, is that another thing about Undergirls concerts which is a bit better? Do they normally actually perform in venues that people are supposed to perform music in?
It really depends. But yeah, the Blue Theater was kind of good for music.
Because obviously, like, when you see Nogizaka on TV in a stadium, it's like they're in a stadium, it's done for sport, and the sound in those places is always absolutely awful.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing too. Like if you watch a performance in the Budokan or anything like that, like you can stand outside the Budokan and you can hear the entire concert just as well because the sound is so bad because it's a martial arts arena to begin with.
Yeah.
Some like when they perform at like Aya theater and stuff like that, like it's a stage for doing like theater dramatics, but still like that one is also designed for people to like make sounds. Like it's designed for good acoustics, so
yeah.
So those venues are always better, like concert halls or theater halls, like for stage plays, are always going to be better than a sports arena. So I must say the Saberdome, not Saberdome, what's it called? Where's the Saberdome? The one they did the third, fourth?
It might be Saber, yeah.
Yeah, the one that has like an outside area and stuff like that, where it was really cold.
Yes.
The one stream where everyone's singing really bad. That was actually a really good concert. Like that one, the sound was pretty good, and it was so cold, so people had to be excited.
Oh, was that the one that they did everything? Like all the singles?
They did all the songs and like Nogidana paired and all that.
Yeah, I think that's Saber, yeah. I remember it was the one where they revealed the next single, and it was which one was it again?
It was after the first album.
It was Inochina Wa Utsukushi, right?
Yeah, Inochi Utsukushi.
Yeah, that was the song that they just revealed at the end, and they're all dancing, and you can tell they were shivering because it was like super cold.
Yeah, it was the coldest day of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, like those kind of days are fun. Like moving back to the unders thing, though. Yeah, the under ones. Unders can obviously not perform in venues like that. They started out in Blue Theater that has a capacity of 700 seats, I think. Nowadays they actually perform in like 1,500 or 1,800 seat venues. But yeah, like I know John doesn't like fan participation and all that, but like since the venues are so tight, like calls and all that become a lot easier to do because everyone can hear each other. Like if someone yells in that venue, everyone else in the venue is gonna hear it. If someone yells at like Saberdome, not even people like 2 like seating blocks away are gonna hear you.
Yeah.
That makes sense, because every time in those big concerts when they want to do the encore call, and it's like a jumbo mess because no one can.
Yeah.
Like you cannot. There's no coherence at all. There's like Nogizaka there, and then 46 there, and then also a weird call going on, and it sounds quite messy. And I imagine it would be a lot better if you do an encore call in those underlives, because everybody can hear each other. It would be much easier to coordinate, no?
Yeah, it's definitely way easier to do it in a smaller venue. I mean, people do it off timing there as well, because some people just don't have a sense for rhythm. But I mean, yeah, compared to like, it's not as noticeable when you're in the venue. Like, say you're at Saberdome or you're at Jingo or something like that. You only really hear the part of the people around you. So you know you're gonna be like in your head you're on time. But like people watching the streams or on DVD or like something like that, or people are just quiet in the middle trying to hear everything.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's really a mess. I mean, it's really hard to capture, like, unless they do it on the screen, like 1, 2, 3, do the call or something like that. No one's ever gonna, because you can't hear people who are like a whole baseball stadium away.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's like I've
exactly.
been to like watch football matches at like stadiums that have got like 60 or 70,000 seats in them,
Yeah.
and you can't hear what people are saying in the first place, and that's without any kind of music or anything going
Yeah.
on.
Mm. Going back to the inception of Underlives,
Yeah.
I mean, since we're both quite veteran fans there since the first and the first single, I'm sure you remember back then, before Under's live, before
Yeah.
Pretend's involvement, there's almost nothing for Under to do. Like, every single they get are Under song, but beside that, there be wrap-up jobs, and sometimes it looks pretty hopeless. And
Yeah.
then the Underlives came, and then Rakuten get involved, and they have Noki 10, and it seems to me that it made a big difference, and I'm wondering what you thought about that.
Yeah, so yeah, I remember that like Kanarin and stuff would be like, yeah, so apart from when we recorded the single and when we did concert with the entire group, I just played Pasadora at home or something like that. Puzzle and
Yeah.
Dragons.
Mhm.
So yeah, obviously like when the Undergirls like the Underlives came, I think both members and fans, like especially fans of Undergirl members, were really excited about it
Mhm.
because like the Undergirls didn't really even have an area to expose themselves. They had the blogs,
Mhm.
and they had like, yeah, pretty much that. So like people wouldn't really discover them.
Mhm.
Like Nogizaka weren't even that popular to begin with. Like the first single, so like 96,000 or something.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say, like, as someone who only came into the group about halfway through their
Mhm.
existence,
Mhm.
like I didn't know who the hell they were until they
Yeah,
were mentioned on an HKT show.
yeah.
Mm.
No, for the Nogi bingo or something.
Yeah, there was some weird thing they had going on where either an episode of an HKT show or an episode of, I
Yeah,
think it was Nogi Bingo, would be aired.
yeah,
And I mean, it's kind of like, they were supposed to be AKB's rival group, but I had not heard of them up until that point.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Because they were really like I
Neglect.
think yeah I think the management like is completely different. Uh, it might have been like more like they might have gotten closer to AKS recently. That's just a theory I have that has no like basis for anything other than all the activities together.
Mhm.
But like in the beginning, they did absolutely nothing together with AKB or any 48 group. So that was also a problem for Undergirls because like one of the first things that Undergirls actually participated in was an AKB single. I think like for Nojo, not Nojo, but like Higuchi, she was in the AKB Nogizaka AKB B side, I think,
Mhm.
and that was her first music video that she wasn't. That wasn't an Undergirl song, I think.
Mm.
Like, but yeah, like they weren't even on Nogidoko, so like apart from when they brought the entire group, because Nogidoki is only Senbatsu.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I mean, I just have to imagine that back in those days, as well as the problems of, no exposure whatsoever, like, they wouldn't have even been paid that much, would they?
It's hard to tell, like based on like they might have like a set wage.
Yeah, because
So,
it's sort of like, I mean, the impression I get, from all the circumstantial evidence is that
yeah,
Nogizaka undergirls tend to be paid more as a baseline, and
yeah,
these days they've got, I mean, these days, like probably like Nogizaka under members probably have about as many jobs as all but the most popular
yeah,
48 members do, but like back in those days it would have just been the basic wage because there were no extra jobs for them to do, and it really, I can't imagine it worth very much.
Yeah, like what about like I know they had like they always had the bonus videos, and that was kind of how Ito Marika
Mm-hmm.
got popular in a way, like some kind of not really grassroots because it's still Sony, but like people got an eye for Marika. She wasn't in Senbatsu. She was barely on TV. She joined Senbatsu for Hashiri Bicycle, I think. Just like shortly.
I mean, I got into her pretty quickly because I was like, you know, like a new fan. But I do actually think that Marika's like personal videos on the single were what got me into her in the first place.
Yeah. So like the first one where she was singing was from Oide Shampoo, where she did the My O song.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that one very well.
Yeah. So people like got really interested in her just from that one video, which I think was the reason that she was put in Senbatsu the season, like single afterwards. Then she didn't sell that well for handshakes or whatever reason. Like in the beginning, they were kind of experimenting a lot. Like they would like change members really fast. Apart from like the Fukujin and like the top picks. Like all of the first generation members eventually got to be in Senbatsu once. So that was a thing too. I think what was it? Like for other than like exposure, like how it felt for the members when they got the Underlives, which was the topic I believe.
Yeah.
So like up until then, they apart from like the bonus videos, they really had zero exposure.
Yeah.
So they had like no opportunities to make fans. But with the shows, like people, even if you're a fan of Senbatsu, like people would go to just because they want to check it out or whatever. Asuka still had some fans because Asuka had been in Senbatsu back and forth. Marika had been in Senbatsu back and forth. I think when Underlives became popular was when Inoue was center. That was like her first Unders too. Like she was demoted and put in center. No, it was the second one. The one before was Hoshino. Yeah.
Do you feel like any particular member benefited more than anyone else from Underlives? Because I know
Marika and Asuka.
Because I think we can all say for fair that everyone benefited to some degree, but certain member seems to have been pushed more by the Underlive because maybe they're good performers. Like Marika's a really strong performer.
Yeah.
And yeah, like was there like a particular member that stand out beside Marika? Maybe you can talk about Marika and Asuka too, but
yeah.
Item.
So like since the Underlives since they perform lots of Senbatsu songs, and they're obviously not the Senbatsu members, most of them, and they have to sing them live. I don't know, like they could have pre-recorded them as well, but in the beginning it was live at least. So lots of these members are not participating in the original single and all that, so they have to sing live. So the best singers stand out a lot. Kawamura, Karin. Like Karin is really popular among the Under fans. She's kind of the leader of Undergirls or something too. Like the unofficial leader. Seirarin was really popular too because Seirarin was also like the unofficial leader. Like Under members would be on stage and call her like captain and shit like that. And fans would shout like Rida or whatever. Like I think all members really benefit from it. But then like Marika and Asuka and Inoue, like they're helped by the fact that Nogizaka became really big, and those three members became really popular too, like Senbatsu regulars, Fukujin and all that. So when news media write about them, they write like the hope of the Unders and like the miracle of the Unders and stuff like that. So But yeah, Nojami as well. Nojami is probably like the second best singer in Nogizaka, or like it depends on if you want to call Ikuta the best singer or not. I think personally, I think Nojo was the best. Ikuta's a good soprano though.
I think, yeah, because this sort of like, that raises a question, doesn't it? Because Ikuta's a very, very good singer, but it's not idol songs she's singing, is it?
No.
It's musicals, which, I mean, is like, I've seen footage of her in musicals, and she is really, really good. But I definitely do think you could make an argument for Nojo actually being the best singer for the material.
Yeah. Definitely. But like, yeah, I think that was like my biggest surprise. I actually brought a Hello Project fan. I was not into Hello Project at the time, but I brought a Hello Project fan friend to an Underlive. I think it was first season. And they were actually pleasantly surprised by how good they were at performing, like how tight the performances were. Just because, like, I think for those shows they get more vocal coaching and all that because they have to sing live and all that.
That makes sense.
More practice.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the big. Well, it's not a big difference, but I think there is a degree of difference between Nogizaka and AKB when it comes to singing because AKB genuinely get no rest, like ever.
Yeah.
They've got to be in the theatre like pretty much every day or doing something if they're not in the theatre. So just, I'd actually honestly be surprised if any 48 members had like ever done any vocal training apart from the first little bit they get when they join. Whereas Nogizaka at least had some time for that stuff.
I think for Nogizaka, at least the Senbata members, they get vocal coaching before they record a single. Each time before they record, because they need to know how to record it. And they got like directions while doing the song. Might also depend on who is the director for that particular song. Because we have like some songs are recorded by Akira Sunset. And those songs, like Undergirls have a lot of them, are usually done together with him, where he like directs each member personally. While some songs are probably recorded in like 2 seconds. I mean, I know My Rule, the music video was like recorded once before they had the lyrics, and then they received the lyrics the same day, and they re-recorded the entire thing.
Wow.
So there's 2 versions of that music video.
Yeah, that's what AKB just actually does for every single single. Which is like hard for the members. It must be like incredibly intimidating to actually just go in and record stuff pretty much straight off.
Oh yeah. I mean, they don't get a lot of time too. I mean, especially like even now when Nogizaka are so popular, like they're absolutely everywhere. Especially Maya and Asuka. Like they probably don't have time to like actually focus on performances.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like it's one of those things where I wouldn't expect Nogizaka to get any better at I wouldn't expect the Senbatsu to get any better at performing at this point.
Yeah, for Undergirls, that's more of a thing where they can try to shine more, like where they can get fans. And I mean, like for some members, like Ito Karin, she says she's fine with being unders forever because she's like, she works for Disney Channel. She works like for some like Yokohama Walker. She has a serial on Yokohama Walker, like about Yokohama City. She gets like other jobs as well. She covers up for lots of like Senbatsu members when they're sick or busy or something. And she gets to perform with Underlive. So
I mean, I think me and Rusty were again. This is one of the things we talked about in a previous episode, but I think part of the reason why Nogizaka members are like old for idols.
Yeah.
And I think
definitely.
It's basically because they can actually sustain their life into their 20s on the money they're making from that job.
Yeah.
Whereas I think if you're an AKB member and you're in your 20s,
Yeah.
and you're not very popular, like you must have rich parents, because it is basically, you know, like I know several AKB members who've like graduated and they basically just said because, you know, they haven't got the money to exist as an adult
Yeah.
doing that job.
Just a moment, please. I'm just gonna go close the window.
Yeah.
At this point, would you say that if you're a more performance-oriented Nogi member, that maybe it's better you just stick in unders and you actually don't get to be in sympathy? Because when it comes to outside job, as you said, Kalin, for example, you get outside job, and she's a really good singer, and she gets to sing every time she goes to her underlives. So if you're a performance-oriented member, maybe you don't have to. I mean, of course, you want to make it big, you want to become popular, but if you just want to do something you love, like performing, and also want to get some side gig, maybe you can argue that being unders is perfectly fine.
Yeah, I'd actually argue like I'm back now, but yeah, so like I think most members who graduate now, like everyone who graduated starting last like 2 years ago, like Himetan and Marika were the first one, I think. Everyone graduated into Sony. Like everyone graduated into an agency created by Nogizaka. Like they're all staying in the same agency. Prior to that one, like Ito Nene, she's active in showbiz. Fukugawa Mai is getting really popular in showbiz. And like before, like Nogizaka was more like AKB, where when they graduate, they move on to like different careers under other agencies or just become normal people. Now Nogizaka are trying to keep the revenue from them even after they graduate, and that's like career stability. Like they've become an opportunity for career stability as well. You don't just graduate and then you have to be on your own like Mai or Nene had to be. So that's like Kawago. She graduated. I think she's still in showbiz now. Under Nogizaka, yeah. And then like Himetan, she's also under Nogizaka. I don't think that's a good idea, but that's a different story. So like even for those under members now, like they still have opportunities. One thing I found funny, like even like Reno, Nakamura Reno, recently she had like a job for like Gyakuten Saiban, like Ace Attorney, a musical. Yeah, like she's like no one even knows her, but she still managed to land that job.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, like me and Rusty have sort of like repeatedly bemoaned the fact that like Junna seems like she'll never get into Senbatsu, but she had a really big job in that musical with Misa, didn't she?
Oh yeah, the Russian one.
The Russian one.
She also have another one where she was with their well, it's not Hinatazaka girl, like the one where she's dressed in purple suit. Yeah, so she's doing quite well in musical.
Yeah, Junna is actually getting lots of like stage play jobs. I think she did some solo as well, and I think that's also Inoue's career, and Higuchi as well. Like Inoue, I know like she pays, I think, from her own salary for vocal lessons. Because she wants to become a musical singer. So like, I think even if she graduates soon, she'll still be able to like continue on with her career, because she's already like moving on inside Nogizaka.
It's actually a quite good career move, I think, because most of the stuff that idols do after graduating is stuff that kind of like will get cut off when they're in their mid-30s, but people keep on doing, you know, musicals well into like their 40s, 50s, that kind of age. Like it seems like a longer lasting career than most of the stuff they could do.
Yeah, and they could also move on to like normal TV and all that too, in case they become big.
Yeah.
But yeah, Yeah, like that's again like kind of like about like talking. What was it? About the ones who stand out during Under Lives, apart from like Marika and Asuka, like the vocal members. Inoue was one of the vocal members too, even though she's Senbatsu now. She did like have a really big role in Undergirls, and she's also moving on to I don't know, musicals. Higuchi is moving on to musicals. Nojo has pretty much been the musical, like apart from Ikuta, she's had the biggest roles in all kind of like drama stage plays in all of Nogizaka. Like for the Ikuta's musical song on the single with some dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think whenever they performed it it was always Nojo who did the male part.
Yeah. That's quite fun. So it seems to me like if you're even if you're a regular Senbatsu member now, it feels to me like it was tremendously beneficial to having experience being under at least like once. Maybe it's because of the vocal training, maybe it's because you are constantly doing live performance and the experience you gain from that. But it feels to me like regardless of which one it was, having experience being unders, it's an asset. It's something that helps you in the long term. Is that something like you think is the case?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's different for every girl, but yeah, I mean, I think it's a good experience to also like, especially if you've been in Senbatsu the entire time, like Inoue and Higuchi. Not Higuchi, I mean Hoshino. Like just going to unders. They went to unders before like the whole under live thing too. So they got to experience it from the bottom. So you probably get more appreciation for your fellow like group mates' work, as well as like what it's like. I think the ones jumping, like I think the most dangerous one though to be in Nogizaka, like just my personal opinion as a really biased Undergirls fan, it's the one jumping up like between the two. Like you're kind of stuck in a loop. like I don't think cutting will like ever go up to Senbatsu. I really doubt Wadamaya is ever coming back. Wadamaya should go for TV though.
She definitely should. That reminds me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that like we mentioned in the past, the unders member don't really get a chance to go on TV. They barely go on Doko because Doko is a Senbatsu focus focus television show. But nowadays there's like some of them go on like television once in a while. But I think more interestingly is that there's Nogi-ten and there's Nogi-eigo, and like Nogi-ten in particular isn't a TV show. It's broadcast online. But it's like it was like their first proper show, in the sense that it's exclusive for unders, and they go on, and in the past at least they had good content. They go to different places. They even go to like overseas, like the Nogi-dan member went to Taiwan once.
Yeah.
And it was a good show for you to see unders member that you usually never get to saw, and it made me kind of lament how the current Nogi-ten isn't that interesting. It's mostly a talk show. People just go there, sit at the table, and talk. But I do feel like it did make a big impact, and I'm wondering whether you think that's the case.
No, I think Nogi-ten it was a good idea that turned out really bad. Like it has zero budget, and it's also on Rakuten. I think some episodes are even paid. Like I think it's free when you watch it the first week, and then it's paid afterwards. or it's the other way around. Like it's paid for the first week and then it's free afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Either way, it's like it's so low. It has like zero budget. It's filmed inside the offices.
Mm-hmm.
And like some of the episodes are pretty cool. Like they do like backstage footage from concert or handshake events.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's one every 15 episodes or something.
Yeah, I remember actually seeing some episodes of it that I really enjoyed. For example, it's like there was one episode where Renachi acted as a kind of tour guide.
Oh yeah.
Like dragging like the other members around like these like historic locations, and that was really, really interesting. But like you said, those kind of episodes are pretty rare from the show.
Yeah, I really liked the Nogizaka fishing crew, like the fishing team from the first season.
Yeah.
Like the first season had a way higher budget than the second season.
Mm-hmm.
like you can kind of notice they had like different themes. They went to different like excursions. The fishing like sub show became so popular. Like towards the end, it was pretty much just like 6 episodes of fishing in a row.
Like I can't help but wonder whether it might be because Undergirls are kind of like they're still like screwed for exposure on Nogichu compared to Senbatsu members, but it's nowhere near as bad as it used to be.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, but like so the current Nogiten 2, like there's lots of Kotoko, which is nice when you like Kotoko, like I do. But it's usually not very interesting. It's like usually Kotoko tells you about Russia using a $1 notebook or something. Like there was some episodes during Nogiten 2, like they went to I think Shimokitasawa and went to like I think it's Kawago and Marika and someone else who went to like cheap ass stores and like try to find like make an outfit for like 4,600 yen or something like that.
Yeah, I actually remember that episode. That was great.
That was a great episode. It was really fun. It was like informative. Like fans could go check out the places they went to because the store names were all there and all that. The clothes, like if you want to copy that outfit, if you're like a girl fan or a guy fan who is into that kind of stuff. But like just episodes where they sit in the office talking. I think with a script, it's not very exciting.
Yeah, like the first season was so much better than the second season. The second season, as you said, is just them sitting around talking, maybe reading off a script. It's not terribly interesting, whereas the first season was a lot more dynamic and a lot more was happening. I feel like the change happened because they want to make money off it, and maybe as John said, since Unders never go on Nogichu more nowadays, if you're desperate for Unders content, you're not as desperate as before. So like it was never going to work, and it kind of feel like a missed opportunity. I feel like it could have been great if they just continue the previous formula, although maybe they're not really earning money off it, so we have to go. But yeah, and it also remind me of like. I remember the episode from the Still podcast where Nick went on, and they talk about how Nogi Eiko have a surprising amount of following from like Reddit, like from like non-Nogi fan. Like a lot of people just enjoy seeing them being dumb and making these rookie English mistake.
Yeah, and, especially foreign fans.
Yeah, and people were wondering why it's not like a more regular thing on like Netflix, for example, And yeah, I kind of feel the same way about Nogi 10. I feel like it should, like, both of these shows could be bigger and better and more regular. And yeah, it's like a missed opportunity.
Yeah. The thing with Nogizaka though is it's actually really successful. And like the budget is just getting better and better every year.
I would
Like
love to
it-
see it be more regular though. Like it's a once a month show.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cable show, so it's a cable show that's sent every month. Like, it would be cool if they could just like expand it, but I don't think the market will be big enough to actually expand it.
Yeah, because I think part of the kind of appeal of it is that there's so many. It's not just that they make mistakes; it's that they make like really bizarre, weird, like non sequitur mistakes. And I think they've probably got to like shoot like loads of footage to get that kind of like usable material.
They also got good comedians though, so like it really helps.
Yeah, that's true.
That doesn't meet them too often, like Banana Man does.
Mm.
Like there's still a distance between like say Nick and Suzuki and the Nogizaka members. Like they changed the regulars too. Like the show is getting more serious, but it's still funny. Like the production is really good.
Yeah.
Like with Higuchi, like I think the new segment is that they do like homework or something for.
Yeah.
But now it's Senbatsu members though.
Yeah, announcement sent by the members, which I thought was kind of a shame. I feel like it would be good if this is reserved for unders. But I guess my June, Hina, and who's the third member? Yuri, Yutan, yeah, they aren't exactly like the super raging successful member of the party. Like you can argue they're not that different from unders when it comes to their standing in the group actually. So
Yutan's in a bit of a weird position, isn't she? Because she's been a Senbatsu member for most of her career, but
Yeah.
she rarely appears prominently in anything they do.
She's
Yeah.
she's a very bumpy member. She and Higuchi are probably the ones that bump the most up and down. Like the yo-yos between Senbatsu third row and Under's front row.
Yeah, it's interesting because Yuta in the first few singles was actually a Senbatsu regular, and then she kind of just dropped down, and then yeah, like you said, up and down, up and down. She's definitely not one of the more successful first gen member though. So in a sense, I don't mind it too much because in like these three members in Nogizaka, they're not. It's not like they put in Asuka and Mayang and Anase. It's like they're not doing that well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, it's just third row, and like third row is kind of like, I think like at some point when the underlife started getting big, the Nogizaka third row is actually the least exposed.
Yeah, I agree.
In a way, they still get to perform, but like in like Undergirls' lives, at least like each girl get a chance to get some spotlight.
Yeah, the irony is that if you sort of compare third row members with people like Kawago and Kanarin, who have actually probably had better, like positions on like Kohaku or something, because they're there filling in for people who would have been in the front row.
Yeah, that was actually a really big thing for when Inoue was on Kohaku, I think. No, not Kohaku, CDTV. When Ikuta's first center song was called. Kote no Hashide and something.
Nandemo no.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like there were people like asking who's the center. And it was Inoue. So that was like one of the like moments when like Undergirls got really big shot at shining. Today, like most Nogizaka members are above 20 though. I think the average age is probably like 19.7 or something.
Yeah, I mean for the group, I mean it's like now I don't think there's like any teenagers left in first generation at all.
No, yeah, they're all 20s.
Asuka turned 20.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's no member who's below 20 in both Senbatsu, in both first and second gen.
Yeah, I just looked it up. Like Miria's not going to be 20 until November.
Oh, okay.
But Ayane is going to be 20 in 3 days.
thought Ayane was like 21.
It's just a face, isn't it?
Yeah.
And her serious demeanor, like she gets that, or I just.
Ayane always feels like she's trying to hypnotize someone.
I must say though, like with the third and fourth gen, like I don't know the fourth gen at all. But with the third gen coming, like those under members, I don't know them at all. Like to be real, like I think the first this first and second generation were all part of the Underlives from the start. So they're in a different position compared to the third generation. The second gen was actually like when they were still like King Kyusei. They were actually like, at least they said so. They were added to the Underlives because the under members thought it was like mean to not let them join anything at all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, remember that. Yeah.
yeah. They still brought in Miona to the center, but whatever. I think that was just one of the shows, but still.
Yeah. The Virgin get to join Underlive from the beginning, or were they?
No. The third gen was only the under members. Let's see here. They started joining it starting like when third gen became like official under members. I think Itsuka something.
Oh, I see. Because I remember
Kyodeki or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember Virgin, they got their own live for
they got their own lives
for their debut, I guess. But I'm not too sure what happened after that.
Yeah, I mean, like third gen has a really strong image of being like third gen because they have so many songs. They have like 5 or something by now.
Yeah.
And most of them are really good too, and they perform well. But like when they started joining Undergirls, like part of me as an Undergirls fan, kind of was like, can't they just like separate Undergirls, like completely?
Yeah.
I mean, they released the Undergirls album before this third gen came, and then the third gen joined them or something like that. I think that was the order.
I mean, this is something that I wanted to ask about early on, is like the idea of Undergirls breaking off, because like I know that I've definitely seen you talk about the idea several
For
times
years.
on Twitter. Yeah. Like, I mean, is it still something that you think would be? Because one of the things that I was going to say is that actually I kind of think that if they'd done it several years ago, I think it would have actually been like a workable idea. But I kind of feel like increasingly, because there's so many members graduating, and to be honest, I kind of think that, you know, by this time next year, you know, like first gen might even be down to like 4 or 5 members or something. Like, do you still think it's a good idea?
No, I think the problem right now is that most of second gen are just as old as the remaining first gens. Like, the ages are pretty, you know, they're not that different. Like, Mai-chan is the oldest member in the entire group.
Yeah.
And has been since
27.
And has been since Mai graduated. Karin is about as old as like Manatan. And then you have the other members.
Would it be fair to say like there's for many of the first gen member that did not end up being Senbatsu regular, and for most of second gen except for those pushed like Miona, there's more of a under identity relative to third gen, which have a very strong third gen identity, and that kind of distinguish them and make it
because this is like one of the things is it does feel like pretty much, you know, I would expect every single one of the third gens to be in Senbatsu at least once.
Yeah.
But with people like Kotoko Jun, Renachi, Miria, I kind of like wonder whether not only Ranza, like, will those people ever get into Senbatsu, and if they've been in, will they ever get in again? And it kind of feels like the only real shot they're going to have would be this year, while all the first gens graduate. But before third and fourth, especially like fourth gen, with them coming through, I kind of say that in a year it would probably make it even more difficult for those members.
Like regarding that one, like second gen are obviously in a really like bad position. Like earlier, like Russ asked, like, hey, like, how would you feel about, like, no, it was you who asked about like breaking up like unders from Senbatsu as its own group. I want to break up Sairingo Gundam as its own group. That's my position right now. Not unders as a whole, because it's too late. Like, they should have done it when they released the album. They should have announced it at the same time that we are, like, it was only like 1 or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, I would have preferred it breaking up even earlier, but that was like the perfect time to do it if they were gonna do it.
Yeah.
Maybe just move Maichin back to Senbatsu.
See, because I kind of feel like actually Sairingu Gundam by itself would actually work.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I kind of feel like Matson would probably prefer to do that and do whatever it is she's going to do after she's quit Nogizaka than be a Nogizaka and do that stuff. Sorry, that I kind of phrased that like quite poorly, but what I'm saying is that I think she'd be like more than happy to do that for a couple of years after she would sort of like no longer want to be in Nogizaka, I think.
Yeah, that's one of the thing though with talking about it earlier. How most members are staying in Nogizaka label after graduating now.
Yeah.
That like opens up a door for Sairingo Gundam to actually continue, even if all of them were to graduate.
Yeah. Because I kind of like, my personal feeling about this is I kind of think that a lot of the members who are graduating now are graduating less because they kind of like feel like they need to for their career, because like it feels like for most members being in Nogizaka is fine for their career. But it's just they're all sort of hitting their mid-20s, and I feel like they want some of the independence in their life back.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like it's not why, like, or like it's not the reason why all members graduate.
Yeah.
A lot of idols graduate just because, on a practical level they can't be an idol anymore. If they're popular, then, they could do a lot better outside the idol group that they're in. But honestly, I kind of feel like for Nogizaka members, they all seem to be fine in their career being in Nogizaka, but there just comes a certain point where you don't want to sort of like be woken up at 6 o'clock in the morning and sort of like told that you're going to do this and you're going to do that, and your lunch is going to be given to you instead of making it yourself. People just kind of want to do stuff.
Yeah, I think like earlier on, like when my graduated, it was still like a good time if you wanted to graduate, like because of age or for your career or whatever.
Yeah.
That was a perfect time for a Nogizaka member to do it. Now they're at the top. Like we already have like really big AKB members, like the legendary ones, like Tomochin and Achan and all those people are pretty much gone from showbiz. Like, I mean, they're still around, but you don't see them unless they're dating someone.
Yeah, well, it's the weird thing is like I was like a big AKB fan like long before I was a Nogizaka fan, and I would say that like the two members who've done best for themselves are Paru.
Yeah, Paru and Kawaii.
Yeah, and Kawaii, who like Kawaii was like pretty popular as an AKB member, but it's nowhere near as popular as she is now.
Yeah, I mean, I knew who she was because of the whole deal with the attack and all that.
Yeah.
That's how I knew her.
I mean, you know,
but
like, I was actually like a very, very big fan of her, and she is definitely better off out.
yeah,
You know,
but
like even like leaving aside like the sort of like psychological distress it probably would have caused
yeah,
her to carry on being one.
yeah, but like I lived in Japan when she was like starting to get big.
Mm.
I saw her everywhere, but I never associated her with AKB or the attack or anything. I was just like, oh, it's Kawaii Reina. Not Reina, but Kawaii Rina.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then just like one day it was like someone was like, oh, ex AKB Kawaii Rina, and like connected the dots. Like she's so big that people don't even know she's AKB anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's not even part of her like introduction or anything. It's just like Itonen is supposed to. I used to be a Nogizaka member because I mean she seemed to have a really good time as a Nogizaka member. Most of her fans are still around, like really loyal people. So like she uses it for her career. Mai still uses it too. She seems to have a good connection with everyone still.
Mm-hmm.
But like Mai probably doesn't have to do it. She still does it. Kawaii really, really doesn't have to do it though.
No.
Like,
Going back to Saoringo Gundam, yeah, I would love to see them debut, I guess. One of the things that that it reminded me of was that they actually did a song like with Honeywork way back. A year or 2 years ago. It was for an anime thing. I'm not sure if it was an anime ending thing. Was it a song in like a BG?
Oh, the Honeyworks one? That they did
Yeah.
together with Akimoto whatever squad.
Yeah, they're fashion done.
Yeah.
I wish to see them do that more because, I mean, besides Karin, I guess, all three of their members are very interested in anime. And Sayuri is very good at coming up with weird idea for them to do. Like, every once in a while we see Sayuri going on TikTok and they're pretty funny. And, you know, every time they did their 46-hour show, they performed this song but with lyric that's Sayuri completely rewritten in a way that's pretty funny. Like, they did Nandome no Gundanga, and they did like Sayuri go Saku, something like that. Yeah, something like that. And I feel like she can take these on and make it really interesting. And they all up, or not all, but almost all end up anime, so they can go do more collaboration in that respect. Like, I feel like it can really work, and yeah, it's something that would be really nice if it happens.
Yeah,
Karen is very professional, so I'm sure she'd like deal with the anime stuff if it came.
They need her for the vocals.
I mean that's one point where I actually need to like butt in and say that Sayuringo is actually one of the better singers in Nogizaka, and people would not agree with me, but I am right.
Yeah, Sayurin is actually like low key one of the best at pretty much everything in Nogizaka.
The thing with Sayurin is she's really good at singing live. Like,
I remember
she's on key.
I remember she's performed in one of the concert while playing the guitar, and it was generally really good, but people didn't believe me.
The Mukichina line, right?
Yeah, I think so. Like she was playing the guitar as she sang, so I thought that was quite impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing guitar for like nearly 2 decades now. Like, singing and playing guitar at the same time is like punishingly difficult. Like, I have respect for anyone who can do that.
Yeah, I need to take that video out again.
Yeah, like I saw that performance as well. Not at the show because I only went to Undergirls that year. It was like the day before. Yeah, I saw the DVD. I think it was on the documentary of Nogizaka 2016 or 2017, one of them. But like, yeah, it was a really good performance, and I think like people in general just like, because her voice is really bad. So people give her lots of flack for her singing due to that. But like if you listen to her singing, actually like singing live, because they always sing live when they do the Sayuri Gundan covers.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's really no editing or anything because it's really low budget
Yeah.
and really like just weird in general.
Mm-hmm.
But like Karin is obviously at a whole different level compared to the rest.
Mm-hmm.
But Sayuringo is usually on key at least. Like
Yeah,
Kotoko and Ayane are like no Ayane, Kotoko and Danse.
Yeah.
I mean they can practice more, but they don't need to because that's part of the entire like thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be good.
Like, yeah, Siren gets compared to like Manatsu, and it's not equivalent. Yeah.
I think people judge her for her squeaky voice.
I mean, yeah, it's a fake voice to begin with.
Yeah, that's the point. It's like there's no point sort of like judging her on that voice when it's like really, really obviously not real.
Mm-hmm.
But I really think they have like Sighting of Gundam, they probably wouldn't be like a top selling group. They probably sell like Yoshimoto Saka levels. But it'd still be, if they did shows, people would go.
I think they can sell twice that number because
How much did
Saka is dropping despite doing handshakes, so that's quite impressive to be honest.
how much did they sell?
They sell like 12K first week.
12K for okay, yeah, I think yeah, maybe twice or thrice that number.
Yeah.
I guess the real question is like, can they sell enough to make it like an economic prospect?
I think so. I mean,
especially because I think it probably would be if you include concerts and stuff.
I think their thing, like if Siren Guna were to do anything, is just speculation, but it's collaboration stuff in general, just like commercials, commercial work, parodies, YouTube.
mm,
But I mean, Nogizaka doesn't really like YouTube, so.
mm.
They don't hate it quite as much as they used to.
Recently, they're weird. Like they're not posting their newest video on YouTube, so they're posting on their website, and there's no restriction on their website, so that's not like an entirely bad thing. I'm just kind of curious why they're doing that though. I mean, it's not on topic. It's just something that came across my head. Yeah.
I mean,
Like they're definitely doing things differently.
I mean, Kekisaka does a lot of weird stuff.
Sorry.
No problem.
You go on, Vince.
No, you go ahead.
It almost just feels like an offshoot of like the way that like Japanese businesses just seem to hate everything that's not from Japan inherently.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you know, Nogizaka has kind of like grudgingly sort of like posted stuff on YouTube, but it's always kind of felt like they never really wanted to do that.
Yeah.
They kind of wish there was some like local alternative they could use, but there just isn't.
I mean, Nogizaka does have a show on Nico Nico, which is kind of the local version of it, but
recently they seem to be like they have an eye for the international scene or the Asia scene more correctly, like during concert in Shanghai, Taipei, and
I think it's mostly because it's not them paying it though. It's the events like when they went for like Anime Next or whatever it's called in Singapore or in Hong Kong. That was the venue paying their tickets, so.
Their concert in Shanghai and Taipei.
Oh, the Shanghai and Taipei were on a like official tour, so. I mean, yeah, that's also the thing because like Nogizaka has done lots of Asian stuff now, like Thailand, Vietnam, like working with like official like bureaus of the country, like the Japanese branch of the like the Bureau of Tourism in Thailand. And I think the Vietnam one was also like basically the Vietnamese government was paying for them to come there and party. So I mean, of course, they sell well, they look good, and plus they promote tourism from Japanese people to come to those countries. Obviously, I don't think Taipei and Shanghai needs the Japanese tourism from Nogizaka. That's more like because they know that there's lots of really big fan groups in China and Taiwan.
Yeah.
I mean, like the majority of the piracy is basically based in China or Taiwan.
Yeah, like because that would seem to be, but that also the government connection also explains why they've gone to like Thailand and Vietnam as opposed to like the Philippines and Indonesia, where they, you've got to assume they'd have more fans there.
Yeah. Yeah, they got more fans here, but like also like lots of Japanese people come to Thailand. It's like the third or fourth biggest concentration of Japanese people outside Japan. So, like, and like people go there just for vacation. Lots of people work there. Lots of Japanese companies in both those countries, especially for infrastructure development and stuff like that. So, I mean, there's a market. Plus, people say like Thailand is pretty much like the number one weeb country in the world. Plus it's kind of rich, like not China rich, but compared to other countries in Asia, like Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, like they're also associated with lots of trouble compared to Singapore, Thailand. I mean, it's pretty much like dictators anyway. So
yeah, I mean, like it does feel like there's like a direct correlation between like how colonized you are and how many problems you have now.
Yeah. Plus, like, I mean, it's money that calls them. So, I mean, it's the same. It's the same when like when Hello Project groups, like maybe off topic but still kind of on topic, perform in like America. It's usually conventions.
Like, yeah, well, I mean that's why Nogizaka went to Japan Expo as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like almost certainly wouldn't be able to afford them now, which is why they've never returned.
Yeah, sadly.
Plus, I mean, they usually never take the same guests again.
Yeah. I mean, Japan Expo is like good. I mean, it's got like, I mean, if you compare it to the like weeb stuff we have here in the United Kingdom, like the budget is like obviously much higher. Because like the weeb festivals here we've got in the UK, they're rubbish, man.
It's the same here in Sweden. I mean, the Japan Expo in France is like a really serious one. It's like takes all parts of Japan, like not just idols and anime. It's like fucking pottery and shit too.
But it's basically because it's because there's like some. I have no idea why it's so strong, but there's just like a really strong historic connection between France and Japan.
France and most European countries.
Yeah.
I mean Japan and France and most Asian countries.
Yeah.
How much the ticket cost? This is totally off topic, but I'm just wondering like those conventions.
I think it's like €80.
How much?
€80. That's like. It's like 1 million Canadian dollars, or like 80 American dollars.
Because I remember the anime expo here being in like very high price for their ticket, and I thought that was kind of exclusionary, but.
Yeah, I think it's like economy of scale. It's like like Japan Expo in Paris knows it can sell loads and loads and loads of tickets. So even though it's much better, the actual cost is about the same.
Yeah, I think they sell more tickets, and they also sell like more than actually like fits the venue, because people are not going to be there the entire time. It's like in the middle of the city. People are not going to like stay inside the venue if they want to go eat. Like people, if they get a ticket, they can just go in and out. Some people just go there like for like 2 hours.
Yep. That makes sense.
There's also free areas and paid areas and all that kind of stuff.
That's true. That reminds me, like, Japan Expo was also one of the location shot that Nogi did. Like, whoever others member who weren't part and budget that went there were also able to go there because they run on a quiz. No, not
No,
quiz.
they did Yankin.
A bowling contest, right?
Yeah, but they did Yankin for the position.
I think one member.
One member was Yankin, and I think Higuchi won, but she didn't want to go, so then it went instead.
Yeah, something like that. Back when the days Nogi were good.
I remember that one because I was so mad I couldn't go because I lived in Japan. I was like, they're coming to not my city, but my continent.
Yeah.
I actually very, very nearly went to that, and then I realised that my passport had expired like about a month ago.
That's why it sucks being British in Europe.
Well,
not
very shortly,
not part of the free travel area.
It's about to suck more though, like in a month.
Yeah, like everything about our entire country is gonna, it's gonna get worse. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's gonna get worse. But like even now, like I mean, this is really off topic, but like as a Swede, I can travel to like France without any ID at all.
Yeah.
But people in the UK need to have an ID to travel around Europe because they're not part of the free travel area, Schengen.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those. It's a ridiculous thing. It's like if I get on the plane to like the Netherlands or something.
Yeah, you can travel.
I can go on from the Netherlands like anywhere in Europe I feel like, but I've got to use my passport to get there first.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
You know, which is bad because I'm, one of the British people who's kind of like slightly dismayed about the English Channel. I kind of rather we were just attached. It's quite nice going around with Europe.
Yeah.
We kind of like don't have that much time left.
Yeah.
So there were just a couple of we've got sort of like time to sort of like talk through the last couple of questions I've got left at length. But I was like, I mean, do you kind of feel that like, we were talking about the fact that like third gen doesn't feel as much like Undergirls as the first and second gens who are in it?
Yeah, as a veteran Undergirls fan, so to speak.
Do you kind of feel as though really like Undergirls might kind of like, I mean, it'll probably come back at a certain point because, I would assume there'd be like a fifth and like further gens afterwards.
Yeah.
But do you feel like for a period it might actually just kind of cease to exist because a lot of the members who are in it now are either going to graduate or get bumped up to Senbatsu at least briefly?
I feel the dynamics are going to change a lot. I mean, now like lots of members have graduated. I don't remember how many members there are in 4th gen.
I think it's 11. I think it was supposed to be 12, but one dropped out.
Good choice. I mean, so like current lineup is like, how many are they? They're like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 36 plus 11. So like they're 47 right now. I mean, that's the biggest Nogizaka's ever been. So I mean, just that, like the size, calls for like a shift in dynamics. But like Senbatsu is also bigger than ever. Like it keeps it's like around 21 or 22 every single now.
Yeah.
I mean, I was always kind of against that size, but I don't like.
I'm kind of against that
sizes.
size, but it's like again, it could be worse because I mean, it's like if you look at like AKB,
yeah,
like they're always about like 30 members now, but only like 16, 17, 18 of those members actually appear on TV. Like at least with Nogizaka's Senbatsu getting too big, at least all those members do actually appear on TV when they do stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's like shifting opinions on that kind of stuff though. Like the things I'm gonna bring up now though, but like before 3rd gen, there were like 35 members. Even less. Yeah, probably like 30.
Mhm.
Before third joined, like it's at that point it was like 30 members, and I thought that was like a really good size.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in total, well, not 30, it was per 30, 34 or something. But like Senbatsu had like 20 members and Unders had like 14. And as an Under fan, I like the less members the better. The problem with adding more members now is that if they're not going to increase the Senbatsu size, the Unders is going to get really big, or they're going to have to split them up into Undergirls and Under the Unders. I mean, they could just like kill the Under concept totally and just make units.
Like maybe used to have the Shirogumi and Akagumi, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like no, like MB had that. Nogizaka in the beginning had unit songs that featured non-Senbatsu members, like most like coupling songs had like various amount of members. Like I think starting Kimi no Na was when they started having only Senbatsu do the units. But like in Safe Kuno Mannequin, I think the couplings were like Yasashi Satowa. Like that one was like Takayama, who was Senbatsu. Asuka, who was also Senbatsu, but then it was like Nojo. Oh no, Nojo was also Senbatsu. That one. Never mind. Like a couple of those like couplings had like a mix of Senbatsu and Undergirls. But all the current like unit songs are just Senbatsu. Like the Asuka, Momoko, Yoda one and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, they could just do stuff like that, but like with bigger groups, like maybe units of 12 members, 13 members, and kill the Under concept. But that also killed the Under lives.
That's true.
Yeah, which is like, I mean, like on a personal, like, like selfish basis, I would, I do want to go back to Japan and see them live at some point. Frankly, I don't feel like my chances of actually getting to see Senbatsu live are very high. But like the truth is like I'm very DD.
Yeah.
And like personally, I'd be absolutely like overjoyed to see Unders live.
Yeah, I think
like I really like pretty much all the members, so I'm kind of like, I might be slightly disappointed about Mayoshi not being there, but like beyond that, I'm really quite happy with whoever's actually going to be on stage.
Yeah. I mean, it's also a mixed unit, but the one with like Hinako and Kanarin, Mayona, and someone else, Himetan. Oh yeah, Himetan's gone. Never mind, it's dead. But that unit they had together, they released 2 songs, I think. But I really like that unit. I don't remember the name of it though.
Yeah, was there a name for it?
They released 2 songs. I don't. It was like not Tulip. Tulip is the Friends one.
Tulip's their travel group, right?
Yeah. Anyway, like there was like one kind of like special unit that released 2 songs like for 2 different singles. That was Miona, Himetan, Kanarin, Inako, and someone else. Like if they do stuff like that more, I'd be pretty satisfied though. Like they could just like like Misa-Misa's graduation is gonna be a solo concert.
Yeah.
So I mean, like Nogizaka doesn't really have to do the Senbatsu Undergirls stuff anymore. They could perform in like different constellations. But it's also kind of like how lucrative would that be?
That's true.
But like I think that like part of the policies I've seen, like from Nogizaka over the last couple of years does kind of feel like they're taking steps to sort of like avoid making the same mistakes that AKB have made in the last couple of years.
Yeah, and also the mistakes they did.
So and the mistakes they did. Like specifically we're talking about second gen a lot, and like they screwed up second gen's introduction really, really horribly.
Yeah.
Third gen have been introduced really, really well. So like again, like they're trying to avoid making their own mistakes again. But I kind of think that if they're sort of like having trouble like balancing Senbatsu and Undergirls and sort of like doing different things can sort of help them deal with that. I think they might actually take the economic loss just to sort of like avoid ending up in a situation where they just have not enough members. I mean, AKB doesn't have enough members for teams right now, so they might just sort of like do things with units in Nogizaka just to avoid members becoming disaffected and leaving. But like what I'm saying is that I think that they might sort of take steps to try and like make sure that they remain popular, even if it means losing some money.
Like, you mean like do activity even if their activity isn't exactly generating?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like if they can sort of have, like concerts with sort of like, say, 10 of the members that they've had, they might consider doing that to sort of like make sure that members stay in the group rather than sort of like leaving them with nothing to do, which is what might end up happening if the Senbatsu Wonders balance sort of like becomes unbalanced with too many in one group or the other. Which is also something that, might end up happening with... Because third gen kind of feels like it's not part of Unders, as we've sort of, like talked about before. Mostly because it kind of feels like most of those members aren't going to stay there for most of their career.
I don't know. I mean, are they that selfless? Like Nogi 10, the show was a good way to do that, but they kind of cut budget because it wasn't earning revenue. So, but yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. I'm just not sure would they do that.
I guess it's based on the important thing is how long term is their planning at this particular point. Because if the idea is kind of that Nogizaka will only be popular for another 3 or 4 years, they probably won't really care about planning too far ahead. But if they sort of have like decided that they think that it can be popular for like maybe another 4 or 5 years after that, they might actually take some kind of economic hit at this particular point in time when they're making enough money to deal with it.
My personal thought on that one is I think they're planning on longevity rather than instant money.
Yeah.
Like rather than capitalizing on the now, they're probably cutting down costs already to make sure that it can stay longer, and that's why they still have Nachan, they still have Ikoma, sorry, you know who, they still have Nojo, I think, they still have Kawago, they still have Iori as a model, and Iori's got a bit of jobs even, I think, Iori's not gone.
She's picked a few up recently, hasn't she?
Yeah. I see Iori more than I see most Nogizaka members now that I don't look at them apart from Kotoko. Because she appears in lots of fashion stuff.
I don't understand how Iori is appearing in more fashion stuff post-grad than pre-grad, but yeah.
She they probably expanded the management team for the Nogizaka, since I think they restructured the company.
I guess that makes sense, yeah.
But
So
I'm really glad to hear that actually, because I want all the members that have graduated to be successful, but to be honest, it's kind of hard to really tell how they're doing
yeah, but I
unless you're
mean, yeah,
interested in the specific field they've got. Because I mean, it's like I've seen Iri do stuff like Tokyo Girls Collection and stuff like that,
yeah,
but I had no real idea how she was doing overall. So that's
yeah.
nice to hear.
I mean, like, if you just like think of it, like, now that they're in a group, they probably like one manager probably works with like three or four girls at once. That may be the most popular ones. Like Mayan probably has a personal manager. Asuka probably has a personal manager. Or imagine Sakurai and Inoue probably shares the same one because they do the same stuff anyway. Like the stage play, musical kind of stuff. I imagine Higuchi also shares that manager or something like that. But like usually probably has a lot to do with who's managing them. But I think when you graduate, especially the ones who have graduated into the same company, that's a major difference between AKB, because no one graduates into AKS. When you graduate from AKB, you're on your own. Nogizaka was like that, but now you graduate into Nogizaka. Like Nogizaka LTC.
Yeah.
Is there another idol group who does? Oh, it's Stardust, isn't it? They're the ones who do.
Unhell Project, well, Upfront Agency.
Yeah.
But both Stardust and Upfront Agency are agencies that existed before they started doing idols.
Yeah.
So they're like definitely like unique in that point. But I mean, Nogizaka is Sony, so. But yeah, like I think probably like now, but that she's graduated, I think Yori probably has her own manager. Or maybe shares with Kawago or something. But Kawago is obviously never going to become a successful model. Like, not to be mean, because I love Kawago, but
yeah, I feel like she's better at production. Like she was, like, she had that corner. I mean maybe she still had a corner in Marquee where she gets her rep someone in Noki every.
I'd say Harayuka fashion, like alternative fashion. But it's a dying trend, so like, it's like kind of sticking one hand out of the grave level.
Yeah, that's kind of a shame, because it's pretty, like, it stand out, that fashion style.
But the positive thing, I mean positive or positive, but the ones who graduate from Nogizaka probably don't have any more ties to Akimoto Yasushi.
Yeah, that's good, isn't it?
That's very nice.
I mean, that depends on how you see it, like, because Akimoto Yasushi is basically probably just a pawn anyway. He probably calls like Samshas, like who's in Senbatsu and all this stuff.
I mean, I did actually, like I've seen like him in, like one of the 48 group documentaries. I can't remember which one. I think it's actually the HKT one though.
Yeah.
And like like Akimoto sort of like mentions that like he said something like, oh, I like this girl, and he's just completely overridden by the other managers in the room.
Yeah.
So what you're saying, Akimoto got override by their HKT manager, or
no, not the HKT manager, from the other AKS managers.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I just think he's become more of a kind of like brand for them than anything else.
Yeah, he's just a brand, not a. I mean, even in an interview from like 2015, 16, when they did the documentary movie, Kono, the chief manager, said that, so I do everything except the music. He said that the music I leave to Akimoto, I do everything else.
Which,
yeah.
I feel terrible for kind of like actually, showing any support for the man.
Yeah.
But I honestly kind of feel like AKB might have been better off if he had actually done more, because I kind of think that his wacky ideas were part of what made them popular in the first place. and now there's like just a severe dearth of like any kind of originality coming from the group whatsoever, and I think it's kind of what's killing it.
I mean, he still gets some money though.
Yeah.
Because they use his name for everything.
I know, like, I don't feel bad for him. I kind of feel bad for them.
Yeah. I mean, I do feel the same though. Like, though I think the opposite for Nogizaka, because Nogizaka in the beginning, I think he had less a role, and then when they got big, he started showing up more. Because it's just a personal theory, but I think a lot of the songs between maybe not Guru Guru Kate, but maybe from Hashire Baishikuru to somewhere around Inushi Wasukushi. I think a lot of the songs there are completely ghost written. Especially Kisi Tarakatomi, which I definitely 100% think is Akira Sunset.
It would make a hell of a lot more sense, wouldn't it?
No one can convince me that that one is like lyrics, everything is done by Akimoto.
Yeah.
Because it's so different from all his other songs.
The other thing is kind of like, you know, we were just talking about this on Twitter like a couple of days ago. It's just that like Akimoto always puts far too many words in every line of a song.
Yeah.
And Kizuitara Katomoi flows really, really nicely. I don't think he could have written it.
Yeah, it's really just a song where like, no, it has to be a musician who wrote this. I mean, he said it in interviews, like Akimoto Yasushi has been in a lot of Morning Musume documentaries like the last year. And he's been always like, yeah, so like I don't do, like, I'm not a musician, so I don't really know this shit. I just write fucking texts.
Yeah.
Like he's been saying that in Morning Musume documentaries. And it all like adds together with my theory of Kisei Tarakatomoe definitely being a Safari song. Safari is the band of Akira Sunset. But yeah, like the Kiyakisaka songs and lots of like very recent Nogizaka songs, or even Last Idol.
Yeah, that's true.
Where I mean, I'm a Last Idol fan, so it's not like I moved on from like non-Nike Pig. I mean, I'm still a Sighting of Gundam fan. Like if they debuted, I'm gonna be at the first show. I don't even know what, I don't even care if it costs like 30,000 yen. I'm gonna go.
Okay, John, do you have any more questions?
I don't have any more questions. Do you have any more questions, Rusty?
No, everything I have in mind, I pretty much went over. Yeah.
I mean, have you got anything else you want to talk about, Vince?
Mind if I go shameless?
Go ahead.
Okay, everyone. There's this group called Kobushi Factory. It's basically Nogizaka. Basically, like look wise, a bit like if you compare like to Hoshino 2000, like Girls Rule Hoshino, they're kind of like that. Which is the best Hoshino. Support, stand them.
Okay.
Yeah, for people listening, Kobushi Factory are part of Hello Project. Like actually, thanks to Vince, I've actually been learning more about Hello Project recently because I've almost completely ditched 48 Group altogether. So there is like a big space in my life now that can be filled by something else. So yeah, like Hello Project is quite easy to actually find their music on YouTube.
It's readily available and also subbed in English.
Yeah, and it's which is great. So I think you might need a sort of like Hello Project primer or something to figure out what all the groups are and which ones are still active. But yeah, like it's definitely worth checking them out, I think.
It's kind of like Stardust. Like each group is different, has their own identity. It's kind of like Sighting a Gundam is basically the Hello Project group of Nogizaka.
That's actually eerily true. I never thought about it in those terms before, but it's absolutely true that they are. So yeah, like that's the end of the episode. Is Vince and me endorsing Hello Project. I'm not sure about Rusty. Do you want to endorse Hello Project, Rusty?
I
He
mean,
likes
I'm
he
open
likes
to that.
comical. He likes comical.
And I'm
Comical
also
visual.
going to endorse Equal Love and their new sister group, which I'm going to keep calling Not Me because I don't know how else to pronounce the way they've written that. They're great, very easy to find out about, so find out about them as well.
Okay.
And keep supporting Nogizaka. Okay, end of the episode.